The 2025 LA fires cost $50 billion, maybe more, but they are indigenous solutions which can help mitigate further disasters. For the past 7,000 to 10,000 years, humans have often farmed the land as we know it today, planting crops and raising livestock. This agricultural revolution laid the foundation for the first human civilizations. However, there's an even older method of land management that predates conventional farming by tens of thousands of years. It's known as cultural burning, an English term that doesn't quite do justice to the deep indigenous knowledge behind it. Today, cultural burning is making a comeback in modern land management and is often called prescribed burning.
Don't call it a comeback! I've been here for years!
Particularly as a tool to prevent catastrophic wildfires. Studies of fire history reveal that indigenous peoples in North America and Australia used fire as a land management tool long before the arrival of colonial authorities and fire suppression policies. During cooler, drier months with minimal wind, they strategically set low-intensity fires to create patchworks of burned and unburned land, reaping numerous benefits for both the environment and their communities. 10 benefits of cultural burning. 1. Enhanced hunting. First of all, cultural burns cleared away brush and trees, creating open grasslands that attracted grazing animals, making hunting easier. When English colonizers first arrived in Australia, they were surprised to find vast park-like grasslands instead of dense forests, an early testament to indigenous land stewardship. 2. Less wildfires. Prescribed burns prevent the dangerous buildup of fire-sensitive trees and dry brush, which can act as fuel for large wildfires like we've seen in LA and Australia. So, more cultural burns would reduce the number of wildfire catastrophes. In North America, the use of controlled burns largely ended in the early 20th century with federal policies aimed at suppressing all fires. Between 1970 to 2015, Western USA saw a 3 times increase in large wildfires. Research indicates that low-intensity fires, such as those used in cultural burning practices, can reduce wildfire risk by up to 60% for several years. 3. Reduce emissions. Large, uncontrolled wildfires are very destructive and release vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, exacerbating climate change. In contrast, cultural burns are controlled, so they're not destructive, and produce significantly lower emissions, helping to store carbon safely in vegetation and soil. 4. Drought resistance. Open, well-managed landscapes allow water to reach the soil, preventing desertification and helping vegetation survive in dry conditions. 5. Cultural burns improve biodiversity by promoting native fire-resistant species and increasing habitat diversity. Fires are actually a natural process important for many ecosystems. Many native plants like oaks, grasses, and wildflowers rely on fire to regenerate. And some animals also depend on post-burn landscapes for food and shelter, such as deer, bears, and woodpeckers. Cultural burns support these species while controlling invasive plants. Fire suppression policies in the 20th century led to the decline of fire-dependent habitats, such as oak savannas and canebrakes, which are now critically endangered. Whereas, without regular burns, fire-sensitive species like red maple have now become the most common tree in North America, which reduces biodiversity and increases the risk for larger wildfires. 6. Protecting water quality. Intense wildfires can destroy vegetation that holds soil in place, leading to erosion and sediment runoff into rivers and lakes. Controlled burns help maintain healthy root systems that stabilize the soil, preserving freshwater quality and availability. 7. Improve soil quality. Fires play a key role in nutrient cycling, returning essential minerals to the soil and enriching it naturally, without the need for chemical fertilizers, which have become a massive problem in environmental sustainability. This makes cultural burning an eco-friendly approach to sustainable agriculture. 8. Clears insect pests and kills diseased plants. Low-intensity fires can help control pests and plant diseases by clearing infected vegetation and disrupting insect life cycles, reducing the need for chemical pesticides. 9. Spiritual and cultural value. Cultural burning is not just a land management tool. It holds deep cultural, spiritual, and social significance for indigenous communities. It fosters a connection with the land, preserves traditional ecological knowledge, and strengthens community ties through shared stewardship practices. 10. Reducing economic costs. By preventing severe wildfires, cultural burns help avoid the devastating economic and social costs associated with fire damage, from property loss to costly emergency response efforts. As mentioned, the practice of controlled burning declined sharply in the early 20th century due to policies aimed at suppressing all fires. However, attitudes towards fire management began to shift in the late 20th century when the U.S. National Park Service slowly reintroduced prescribed burns. Unfortunately, in October 2024, LA halted prescribed burns again. Then, in January, they saw the worst wildfire they've ever seen, caused by a combination of overgrown vegetation, dry conditions, and high winds. Renewing the debate over prescribed burns and fire preparedness in California. Here at Enviroverse, we firmly believe in the value of indigenous wisdom to help the modern world. Thanks for watching.